Hello again, friends. I'm Laura Armstrong, and I'm a volunteer for the Minnesota Marine Art Museum. We've had some fun together looking at stories and art, and today we're going to have some fun again, but first I have something to show you. This is something really, really special that I have hanging on the wall in my house because I like it so much. And it is a certificate from the Cloud Appreciation Society. Here's a picture of some really cool clouds, and the certificate says, "We do hereby certify that Laura Armstrong was elected as a member of this society on 31 January 2011, that's 9 years ago, and will henceforth seek to persuade all who will listen of the wonder and beauty of clouds." And it also shows my member number. I am member number 24,946. And now there are more than 50,000 members of the Cloud Appreciation Society. And you might be wondering two things now. One thing you might be wondering is, what does appreciation mean? What would it mean to appreciate a cloud? Well, the word appreciation basically means that you think about the value of something. So if something is important to you, or if a person is important to you, you appreciate it or them. And then you might be wondering, why would people appreciate clouds? Well, in art, clouds actually can do some pretty cool things. And you'll discover if you go to visit the Minnesota Marine Art Museum that most of the paintings have some sort of clouds in them. Clouds are everywhere in art, just like they're everywhere in our lives. And I'm going to talk about a few paintings where you can really clearly see a lot of clouds and what they do for us. The first painting is painted by a man named James Butterworth in 1873. It's got a long title, "The Match Between Yacht's Vision and Meta, Rough Weather." And you can see the dramatic dark and light of this painting helps us to see how exciting it is that these two boats are racing and the weather is really stormy and dangerous. If we didn't have any clouds in this painting, it would look a lot less thrilling, and it also would be less realistic because in this true story, the boats were racing when a storm was happening. Another really cool painting that features clouds is William de Haas's painting from 1879 called "White Island Light, Isle of Shoals." This is another big dramatic storm, and in the front of the painting is a lighthouse. It's kind of the hero or the star of the painting. And if you look very, very carefully out in the ocean in the painting is a tiny boat that's having a lot of trouble in this big, big storm. And once again, we can see that if we didn't have the clouds, the dark, stormy, scary looking clouds, we would not understand exactly how dangerous this situation is. Another thing clouds do in paintings is show us beauty. Sometimes if I go on my morning walk down by Lake Winona, I see some fog, which is basically clouds that have been resting down close to the earth and are starting to rise up. And those clouds or fog sometimes have a pretty color, like what you see in Jervis McEntee's painting, Lake Placid, Adirondacks. He painted that in 1868 in upstate New York, and you see these lovely rosy colors with mist, just like we might see here, and it almost makes the painting fuzzy in places. It's just so beautiful. If you look at Hermann Herzog's Alpine Lake scene, painted in 1868, you can also see these beautiful shapes of light and dark clouds that make the painting seem balanced because you have the village and the people and the shoreline on one side and the beautiful big puffy clouds on the other. And the last one I want to talk about, although there are just tons more, is Edward Moran's painting, Commerce of Nations, Rendering Homage to Liberty. This is the painting of the Statue of Liberty that you might have seen in our museum, painted in 1876 to help earn money to build the pedestal. And in this painting, there's a bright, intense blue sky with pretty puffy clouds that almost make a frame around the Statue of Liberty. It really makes us pay attention to the focus of the painting, which is the statue. So we've talked about 5 paintings, and there are many more that are in the museum that show us some things that clouds can do in art. But what about things that clouds can do for us in real life? And why should we appreciate them? Well, I have a story for you. The story I have for you today is going to help us think about some things we appreciate that clouds do for us in real life. And this story is called Cloudette. Can you see this very small cloud? And this story was written and illustrated by Tom Litchenfield. Cloudette was a cloud, a very small cloud. Usually, Cloudette didn't mind being smaller than the average cloud. Here's an average cloud, and there's Cloudette. She's really small. In fact, being small had lots of advantages. Everyone called her cute little names. Hi, Pipsqueak. Hey, Shortcake. Morning, Small Fry. She had lots of little friends. That's Nutty. Hey guys, what's up? Us. Hee hee. No matter how crowded it was, she could always find a good spot to watch fireworks. She could sneak through tight spaces. Excuse me. Hide in small places. I can't find her anywhere. Me either. Hee hee. And she even had a special little space that always made her feel cozy at night. But once in a while, all the other clouds would run off to do something big and important. Come on, Cloudette, join our cold front. We're gonna make a huge storm. Yeah, we're gonna water some crops and make some mighty rivers flow. No thanks, I'll just watch from here. Cloudette could see them in the distance doing all sorts of important cloud things. This made her want to do big and important things too. She wanted to make a garden grow. She wanted to make a brook babble. She wanted to make a waterfall fall. And she thought nothing would be more fun than giving some kids a day off from school. One night, Cloudette lay awake wondering what she could do that was big and important. She thought maybe she could work for the fire department. Sorry, we just got a brand new pumper truck. Or maybe they needed some help down at the garden center. Sorry, these plants take tons of water. But nobody seemed to need her. Sorry, it's all done by machines, says the person at the car wash. Cloudette was feeling blue. See, she's kind of sad. The next day, there was a big storm in Cloudette's neighborhood. The sky got dark, the rain came down like cats and dogs, and the wind blew harder than she'd ever seen wind blow before. When the storm finally stopped, Cloudette realized she'd been blown far from her neighborhood. I'll bet you recognize that bird. We have a lot of those right where we live. She didn't know anyone here. Hello, hi, howdy, how you doing? They didn't seem eager to get to know her. Are those clouds? Pretty soon, though, she was making new friends and seeing things she'd never seen before. Welcome to our neck of the woods, Small Fry. What a cute little cumulus. Have you seen our new pal? Barely. Then she heard something she'd never heard before. Ribbit. I'll bet you know who makes that sound. She looked down at what was supposed to be a pond. but was really just a puddle of mud. Who is that? You're right. It's a little frog with no water to jump in. What happened to your pond, Froggy? It dried up and now it's more like a puddle than a pond. This gave Cloudette an idea. More like a brainstorm, actually. She held her breath until she started to puff up all over. Then she turned a nice blue-gray color. She kept growing until it looked like she was ready to burst. She shook her behind until it made a little rumbling sound. Not quite what you'd call thunder, but enough to let people know they might want to grab an umbrella. Then she did what she'd wanted to do for ages. She let it pour. That frog is pretty happy now. Cloudette rained on that little puddle until it grew into a big puddle. And she kept on raining until that big puddle grew into a perfect pond. As soon as she stopped, frogs of every stripe and spot came jumping into the pond. They all let out a big thank you in unison. Ribbit! Cloudette was exhausted, but happy. Even the higher-ups were impressed. Nice work, Cloudy. Yeah, way to water. Prodigious precipitation, Pipsqueak. That was some righteous rain. We knew you had it in you. This got her thinking. I'll bet there are other big and important things a little cloud can do. And off she went. So this story helps us know that clouds are really important to us. They help us to have rain and water that keeps nature going and gives frogs and all kinds of other animals a home. So I hope the next time you visit the Minnesota Marine Art Museum, you have a chance to go and look for all the different clouds that are in so many of the paintings there. And I also hope the next time you go outside, you look up and appreciate the clouds that you see. Maybe you could even say, "Thank you, clouds." I also like this story because it helps us to know that even somebody little can be a big help. And I hope you heard that my cat was helping me tell this story today. You might have heard her meowing while I was talking because she would really like to go outside. I will see you next time.